home values continue to fall. At this point, do you feel that by jumping into the Staten Island real estate market right now, you are still primed for significant long-term growth? And what areas on Staten Island do you think are poised to see the greatest appreciation?
Well, yeah, I think it definitely is. I mean, just as these other gentlemen are saying, this is a good time. Prices have come down significantly. There are good opportunities. This is a very, very desirable borough as opposed to the other boroughs. And I think, but I think that's true. But I think we have to look even beyond that. I think we have to look into other opportunities that people have. I mean, traditionally people have also looked at New Jersey. And I think people are, in this economic environment, I think people are looking at what their wants and needs are today relative to where they've been in the past. And I think people are looking for, in some respects, better commutes. Okay, you know, we're all concerned about energy prices and gasoline prices, and so I think people are looking at commuting in terms of how they make their decisions about where to buy. I think, you know, we also have a very significant tax advantage, real estate tax advantage over opportunities in New Jersey. So I think that's always been something that has been a plus for Staten Island. So I think everything right now is pointing towards this being an opportune time. Sure, I mean, I suppose everybody can sit there and wait for the bottom. Right. Nobody's ever going to be there. It's
impossible to predict the bottom.
You're never going to be there, and you're not going to know it until it's passed.
Sure, that's the problem. Yeah.
In terms of areas, you know, Staten Island overall is a relatively small island, and it's not, you know, so when we start talking about areas, I mean, the South Shore has always been someplace that you need to look at in terms of long-term growth with new construction, and there's lots of new construction down there, and some of it's sitting there. On the North Shore, obviously St. George is something that's really coming up with some very interesting opportunities for people who want to.
Yeah, they did some beautiful stuff down there by the ferry terminal.
Sure, and so people, I think, are coming across from Brooklyn and Manhattan and looking at that, and I think that's going to be something that's going to be poised for growth for a long time.
I agree. I think it's they did a beautiful job down there, and hopefully they'll only continue to, build upon that area. Ralph, we haven't seen federal funds rate below 1% since the 1950s, and we haven't seen mortgage rates as low as they are right now since well before Freddie Mac started keeping track of them back in the 1970s. Do you think it's better to buy a home now to lock into these low rates, or do you think it's better to wait until maybe the market stabilizes a little bit and there's a little bit more certainty?
I think when you look into this market and you're looking to buy a home as a home, not as an investment, this is the time to buy.
Sure.
The rates are low. The prices have fallen significantly. They're not at the bubble prices. A home is a long-term investment, and I think a lot of people have forgotten that. They were using it. I think a lot of the issues that happened over the past few years of people buying as investments, flipping it, and having someone else come back. But when you buy your house and you're going to live in it 10, 15, 20 years, and we're at historical lows basically with mortgage rates. We have lost a significant amount of value in the real estate market from the high of the bubble, which means that the values are more realistic, more sustainable, more a base or a foundation that you can grow from. I think this is the perfect opportunity to buy. As far as trying to find the bottom of the market, I think there's always only one person who finds the bottom of the market, and everybody else scrambles after that. And what Sandy said was correct, that you don't know the bottom until it's passed. I don't think you can play to the bottom of the market. If you have the means, you have the opportunity, and you have the desire to purchase a home, this is the time to do it. Go in and buy a house.
Okay. Henry, are low interest rates, you think, the answer to rebuilding consumer confidence in real estate?
It's certainly part of the answer, but consumer confidence is going to come from a lot of different arenas. And the other aspect about home ownership, I'd say the last 20 years we referred to home ownership as an investment. It's really a place where you're going to live and raise your family, and you shouldn't necessarily look at the appreciation only for buying a home. What it is actually taking money that you might pay for rent and building up equity. And the types of increases that we've seen in home values over the last 20, 25 years are unprecedented. So I think we're going to return to a time where there will be appreciation, but more controlled increases than what we've seen.
Not at the same levels that maybe we had seen.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. If you can just name some of the, I guess, the more popular mortgage types that are available, and maybe some of the pros and cons available to each. And gentlemen, if you want to chime in with anything else, please, by all means.
Well, there's fixed and there's variable. And where people got into trouble on variable rates is they kept going up and they couldn't refinance into fixed when they needed to.
Those are also known as adjustable rates, right?
Well, right, adjustable, variable. But right now, fixed rates are relatively low if you have a good credit score. If your credit is not pristine, you will have a very, very tough time, and that's what everybody is discussing, that the banks will make loans, but they're making loans to the most qualified people. There's also a conversation about extending the term of fixed-rate mortgages. I mean, historically, they've been between 25 and 30 years. But now, because people live longer, there's discussions about 35 and 40-year mortgages.
And what that'll do is help amortize the cost of the home, so your monthly mortgage payments will be less.
Correct.
And then in terms of adjustable rate mortgages, you see like 3-1 adjustable rate mortgage, 5-1 adjustable rate mortgage. Just what exactly does that mean? Quick. Sorry, yeah.
I'll take that one.
Let the banker go.
Let the banker go. A 3-1 is an instrument, and a 5-1 where they'll fix the rate for you for that initial period of time, whether it be 3 years or 5 years.
Okay.
After that, it becomes a 1-year adjustable. That's what the /1 typically means. What these products are built for is the ability to get a little bit lower rate in the first 3 years or 5 years than you can on the fixed. That was the theory behind them. Give you a chance for your income to increase over time. So when it becomes a 1-year adjustable, you have a point at that point in time to either refinance it, or you'll be able to afford the fully indexed rate, as it would say. The problem with those instruments is that you do a lot of fluctuation after that 3 or 5 year period. So your rate can certainly, and your payments can drastically change. And you have to be
unfortunately, a lot of
that.
people have discovered recently.
And then the other aspect is you can have negative amortization, where your principal amount increases instead of decreases, and that's problematic.
Yeah, people end up owing more on their home than their home is actually worth now.
Correct, and in a time where you have declining values, your gap
That's-
gets greater and greater.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Sandy, what are other options available to someone with an adjustable rate mortgage that's about to be reset? And maybe what advice would you give to them?
May I turn that back to the banker?
Sure, whoever.
Be happy to answer that. I think what best thing someone can do at this point is if they can get into a fixed rate product, that's where they have to be. The rates are really low.
Right.
This is the opportunity in a long that basically is not going to be around for a long period of time. Even though 1-2 years may sound like a long period of time, historically rates have not stayed this low for a long period of time. That is the thrust where they should be able to go. They got to refinance, and they got to be able to get into a fixed rate product. If they go back to adjustable rates, they're going they're just forestalling it, or they're gambling again.
So no matter what, I mean, or not no matter what, but right now your best advice would be for someone who's in an adjustable rate is get out and get into a fixed.
Yes.
You'll thank me later.
Absolutely. You'll thank you 5-10 years down the line. You'll say thank you very much when rates have changed. And they're more upswing potential than they have downswing at this point.
Okay, great.